All right, the nomination season is just about to conclude, but not without living up to its billing. Some big names have been sent packing. Most famous of all is former Energy CS Charles Keter. He was shown the door by little-known Eric Mutai. He has since conceded defeat. There are other upsets and heartbroken aspirants elsewhere. In Migori, for instance, County Fatuma Mohammed complained bitterly of what she claims was party favoritism. She says the party has been rigging her for the past 15 years straight. Listen to her.
And everybody knows. Then you come here to give to God because she's Korean. I am also minority by honor right. But I don't dwell on that. I campaigned and I won. Where would you get votes? You are on opinion polls. Are you contradicting your opinion polls? 3 times you say I'm winning. Then you bring nomination. And why only on my seat? Why only women then? This was done purposely to create room for her because she's a weak candidate. I am popular, and that is why I've never lost. I do lose unfairly, but I've accepted. I've supported the party when all this happened. But I spend my resources. I am a young person. I am not employed. I'm a small business person. I am a woman.
The ODM party must check into this because it is never good that Mheshimiwa has won. And that is the thing on the ground. 3 times. And we have been on the ground campaigning. And Mheshimiwa have been going far.
I cannot waste my millions in vain. Jacob must hear this. He has children, he has daughters. Would he accept that?
You can feel the anger and the passion in Fatuma's voice. But one single vote, meanwhile, determined matters in Naivasha as UDA overturned what was earlier reported as an upset. The Dispute Resolution Committee found one vote separated Jen Kihara from formidable challenger John Kihagi. There have been an easy calm in Nakuru, and Kisumu supporters of mostly losing candidates have staged protests. Resignation letters have been filed as aspirants attempt to exercise their last options to the ballot. Let's take a listen.
Vijana walikuja kama 30 na kila pikipiki ilikuwa imebeba vijana 3 wakaamua kuingia kwa polling station. Wakapata polisi moja mwenye alikuwa kwa polling station, wakamuonesha visu, kisu moja alibeba kisu, na wakaingia ndani na wakaanza kuinterfere na hizi papers na wakararua wakienda. Sasa hivyo ndio venye kulikuwa, hatujui mwenye aliwatuma. Wameingia wakirarua hizi material na wanasema election haitaendelea. Simu ya ma-agents zimechumukuliwa kama simu 7.
Mwendo wa kitu saa 8 na kitu ndio watu wamekuja, walikuwa na pikipiki, walikuwa na visu, na wakakuja wakiwa na vitabu. Zingine walikuwa nazo za walikuja na vitabu zenyewe hivi wakifanya hivi. So wakati wamekuja, wamepata tuko na askari moja na alikuwa na rungu. Sasa hofu yetu na kwamba wasiwasi wetu ni kwamba tungeuliza serikali yetu tukufu ya nchi ya Kenya. Sisi ndio wananchi na sisi ndio tunalipa kodi. Why tunapewa askari moja akiwa na rungu?
Sisi tulikuwa pale hivi nje. Tukasikia piki na migurumo kubwa kubwa. Vile tumekaa hapo hivi, tukasikia hawa vijana wakakuja, kuna mwenye muendeshaji na kuna mwenye amebebwa huko nyuma. Sasa mwenye yako pale na pikipiki amekaa tu hapo, ni kama agoje huyu mwingine wakuje wafanye vile wanafanya ndio waende. Sasa wamekuja wakaitana, kujeni tupige kura, kujeni tupige kura. Vile sasa wameingia kufika hapa dakika moja, wakasukuma askari na wakaingia. Dakika moja wakatoka na maboksi wakilarua. Sasa hizi ndio zenye vitu yenye wamerusha huko nje. Sasa ikabidi sisi wote tutoke nje, kila mtu ajaribu kuokoa moyo wake, juu hatujui ni nini. Juu hao vijana wengine wamejifunika hata uwezi jua mtu.
Well, the deadline of these nominations is on 22nd May. Both Azimio and UDA party leadership would like to see the end of these days, as both camps have struggled to find a winning combination, and that is of making everyone happy and at the same time exercising democracy. While we are still at it, there is a little matter of running mate. IEBC has given presidential candidates a little less than 9 days to announce their running mates. Leading candidates thought they had time, but this will surely be another point of contest. However, both camps have 2 names out of hat among many. Some UDA functionaries are touting Kirinyaga Governor Anne Waiguru as possible running mate to William Ruto. In Azimio, it's a little brazen as Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu led women in announcing their choice. That is Martha Wangari Karua. There's a lot to discuss. With all due respect tonight, we have put a panel to help us digest the state of play and politics. Barack Muluka, political analyst and commentator and publisher, the man in Emanuelia, joining us live from his home. Karibu sana to the program. I've not seen you for almost a decade. Good to see you.
Good to see you too, James Smart, and greetings to the viewers and to my co-panelists from Emanuelia.
Thank you very much. And also, Ambrose Weda, counsel and analyst. Also, haven't seen you in forever. Karibu sana to the program.
Thank you so much.
And I'm happy to have you. Our third panelist is Angel Plate, Wanjiru Ngohi, a project manager from Bua. She will join us when she does. Gentlemen, without wasting more time, these 2 or 3 days, depending on who you ask, about these nominations. Just a quick run. Let me start from Emanuelia. Perhaps there is wisdom, up there in Western Kenya. Barack, these nominations, how have they gone for you? How would you say they have been? We've seen for the first time, if you like, this question of negotiated democracy. People have been told to stand down for others. What would you say these nominations have been for you? How do you sort of profile it for us?
Thank you very much once again, James Smart. When we look at the nominations across the parties, we are seeing expressions such as confusion. We are hearing things like turmoil and so on, which I think is not exactly fair to the political parties, regardless that they are ODM, they are Jubilee, or they are UDA. Because we have seen that even the IEBC, with all the wherewithal at its disposal, has never had an election that has not had irregularities, that has not been marred with illegalities, and that has not had outcomes that have not been overturned by the courts. And so when you look at an entity like a political party with limited resources at its disposal, at a time that the country has been going through fuel crisis and that logistics have been very difficult, at a time when the economy is doing very badly and they have to mobilize financial resources to undertake party primaries of this kind, it's a good effort.
It's a good
when
effort.
we look at issues like negotiation, like direct tickets, these are things that exist in the various parties' rule books, and those regulations were filed with the IBC quite a while back. It is too late to complain about it.
Too late to complain about. Ambrose, for the first time, everyone expected this sort of big day that we all have had, everyone going to the nomination on one day. It's a bloodbath, candidates stealing, each other's ballot, chaos, and then winners are announced. That didn't happen so much this time. Would you say this is a step forward for democracy? Others are arguing that the fact that people are not able to, nominate and go to the ballot, if you like, universal suffrage, there's a bit of stifling of democracy.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for having me here. I would look at the current nominations on the basis of the past. That is the only way you can say it is good, it is bad, it is fair, it is unfair. From the multi-party democracy, 1992 coming up onwards, you'd be able to say that there has been quite an improvement. This one, I would look at it in view of the difficulties enumerated by my brother Barack. You'd be able to say that they have done fairly well. Why? Take, for instance, the negotiated democracy. I think it is more humane. It is more businesslike. It is much better than it was earlier, where you hear. In 2007, when I was running against Professor Nyong'o, I just heard that, he has been given direct ticket. And we fought and we caused mayhem and beat up people.
What happened to you?
Oh, one day it will be in the books. Go and ask. We were ready and we were winning and we could win and we were prepared.
Yes.
We were told he's been given ticket.
Yes. But that was negotiated democracy.
No, that was not negotiated. I didn't know. And when we caused mayhem, the owner of the party called us, he called me and told me, if you have touched that your thing between your legs and you find it full, go and start your party. So when you look at what we have done today, you will be able to say, yeah, I think it is decent. Some people, you say, look at it. Look at some form of opinion poll. It could be right or made up. But we are taking into account several things. Maybe the party needs somebody's helicopter, which James Matt does not have. Maybe all these things. That is one aspect. The other one, they have done it in a systematic way in certain areas so that so much chaos has been eliminated.
Yes.
And people should remember that these parties do not have that kind of resources to hold. They don't to hold.
It's a logistical nightmare.
Yes. If you look at IBC, they don't even have 1% of what IBC uses to conduct elections. So there is a way forward. I see like the Migori lady complaining that she's been waiting for the last 15 years. Somebody should better tell her that those are not her supporters. Those are party supporters. There's somebody who owns those supporters. That's why she has been losing, they has been mistreating her, and there's nothing much she can do. But the day she's able, the day she's able, she'll walk out, take independent, or go to another party and win.
Right.
But now she also knows that when you are where she is, all the many votes belong to Baba. So you can't walk out. So I think they have done fairly well in difficult circumstances. We hope there will be improvement. But I continue urging the people. Some of the party nightmares we are having is because they are too beholden to parties. Such that when you get, let's say, an ODM ticket, you are in. Areas where the parties don't matter much, you find the parties are very careful in doing their nominations. They are very careful. They want fairness because they know you do it badly,
you're out.
You're out.
But Barack, talk to me around so big people losing like upsets, you know, and let's start with, you know, perhaps the biggest one and the only one, right? It is CCS Charles Keter, transformer. He leaves his job, then goes into Kericho and loses this terribly. You know, he's beaten hands down by a first timer. What do you attribute this to?
First, Keter was going always to leave his job, regardless that he went to Kericho to attempt to become governor or not. The tenure of that government is in twilight moments, and therefore all the people in the cabinet should actually be putting their bags together, preparing to go home. But beyond that, I heard in your bulletin, you said that Keter was beaten by little-known Mutai. The question is, little-known by who? It's possible that there are people in the newsrooms, in the media, like yourself, like myself, and others are talking about Mutai as little-known. Yet the people of Kericho know him. While Keter has been busy in Nairobi, being a cabinet secretary, banking on the fact that he is known by the deputy president and hoping that that would be a huge asset, Mutai has been on the ground, he has been meeting the people, he has been popularizing himself, people have been getting to know who he is, what he stands for. People like Caleb Kositani have been hobnobbing around with the deputy president, forgetting that at one point the DP told them that forget about taking photographs with me, forget about giving the impression that you are known to me and that you are close to me. What's going to matter is going to be how well you are prepared on the ground.
Right.
And we are seeing youthful candidates who don't have the kinds of funds that the big guns have got. We are seeing them sailing to the other side of that exercise and preparing for the home stretch. And I think that is the way it should be.
All right. I'm going to take a short break because when I come back, there is a development in Nairobi. Polycarp Igathe has thrown his hat into this already contested field. Suggestions that Tim Wanyonyi from ODM will stand down for him, or there's a negotiated democracy there. There is a situation in Mombasa as well, building up. When I come back, both Hampo Sweda and Barack Muluka will tell us where all this thing is going and what we look at negotiated democracy in terms of running mate as well. The number 2 slot. We'll take a short break. With all due respect, we'll be right back.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar.
Renew your StarTimes monthly subscription today for just 299 shillings on Yota Bouquet and add on Super Kids Bouquet for just 150 shillings to save up to 70% off your subscription. Terms and conditions apply.
Enjoy Easter offers with soil merchants who are offering you an opportunity to invest in the fast-growing town of Ngong, which is less than an hour's drive from Nairobi CBD. The property is located along the Ngong-Kimuka Highway and is fronting the tarmac with amazing views of Ngong Hills in a cool and serene environment. Water and electricity are available with schools and health facilities nearby. Title deeds are ready. Get an 8th acre plot for only 795,000 shillings. Join us on our open day on the 23rd of April 2022. SMS LAND to 21595 for more information. Don't miss out on this great investment opportunity before the prices go up. Buy today, build today.
An infant starts to work on fever in just 15 minutes. Trust Panadol Baby and Infant to work on fever fast to bring back their cute smiles.
Almost 250,000 people die on the road in Africa each year. Follow these safe steps and help save lives. Pedestrians, avoid using electronic devices, stay on sidewalks. At a road crossing, stop, look both ways, listen, and then cross. So when you're on the roads, follow these safe steps and help save lives. We all have a role to play in road safety. Together, let's make Africa's road safer.
Wow! Ni hao! Mozart wanapeana 4-bedroom. Hit the longest one multi-bet daily. Ushinde hao. Kuwa mshindi. Mozart bet.
In the spirit of Kenyanness, we have come together to help our brothers and sisters affected by drought. Join us by dialing *126# to donate bonga points, cash or food and lift one another in oneness.
Pamoja tuungane.
Your favorite peanut butter is now available at reduced prices. It's made with 100% pure peanuts and a rich source of omega-6, helping you grow healthy and happy kids. Buy and enjoy Blue Band peanut butter at reduced prices today. Made possible through local farming in Kenya.
Akili hauna ama unaanzaje kueleza hapa?
Kwani shida iko wapi exactly eh?
Hiyo ni swali ya kuniuliza Mike. Wewe kweli umepungukiwa na akili ndio maana vile anakuficha.
Kwani tusivyo tena.
Nitakutusi mpaka utue kumea akili kuishi na hao watu.
Nilikuwa naishi nao poa hadi.
Kuishi nao poa ni kwa driver wao.
You do realize it's 5:30 a.m. You're up early.
Yes, I have a meeting with the materials guy, so... You're wearing a black suit.
Well, what about it?
Someone's in trouble.
Get an 8th acre plot for only 795,000 shillings. Join us on our open day on the 23rd of April 2022. SMS LAND to 21595 for more information. Don't miss out on this great investment opportunity before the prices go up.
With all due respect, welcome back. Nomination squabbles, party primaries, and the heartbreaks and the heartaches. That's the point of our conversations tonight. I do have Barack Muluka, the man in Emanuelia himself, and in studio, Ambrose Weda, to wade into this web of madness and craziness of those nominations. Let's get to the second point. Just this evening, Nairobi has had, some sort of a rearrangement or, a plan. Polycarp Igathe joins the race for Jubilee, widely touted to be the Azimio candidate. There's always Tim Wanyonyi hang around there. Tim says he's still in the race. What do you read is happening in Nairobi?
Originally, there were the alignments of the heavenlies that it would be Ngatia. But there are also rumors in the air that Ngatia may have questions to answer about papers. Okay. So maybe Azimio is saying, we don't want to run that risk. Then the question is of the Kenyan oligarchs. And Nairobi is the cake. Nairobi is bigger than the Ministry of Finance. And the oligarchs have their eyes on it because their houses are here, their properties are here, their lives are here, their businesses are here. So this is not a place where you just come and say you are popular and you get in. Sonko came in and he was popular, but he didn't know their oligarchs. So he had to find himself out. Mm-hmm. The oligarchs that brought Igathe last time are now ndani.
So they brought him again.
They brought him again. And I think put Igathe here and put Ngatia here, they'll go for Igathe because he has credentials, he's highly educated, he's good, he's eloquent.
Right.
Ngatia, they would have also loved him because he's a businessman. He knows about capitalism and capital and how you protect capital and money.
Yes.
So my brother, Wanyonyi, is good. He has a good track record, a good lawyer. But the oligarchs may not be safe with him. That is one ground. Secondly, it seems that in the Azimio structure, Nairobi will have to go to Jubilee as the presidency goes to Baba. Because Azimio has two Babas. There is Baba wa Taifa, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, and Baba wa Azimio.
Okay.
Honorable Raila Odinga.
Yeah.
So they share these things. And I think Nairobi will go to
Jubilee way.
Jubilee.
Yeah.
So Tim Wanyonyi, either he may be taken in as deputy, although deputy again, either lawyers or Kambas, because you have to look at the voting pattern, the vote basket. So you have to take care of the Kambas or the lawyers. So Tim Wanyonyi, if he comes down well, he will be considered. But it's good if you are just looking for work, delivery, you'd go for Tim Wanyonyi. But we are not looking at that. We are looking at the interests of the oligarchs. People would call in Europe oligarchs.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what's happening. Barack, what's happening in Nairobi? What do you read with this latest move? Do you share the view that, the oligarchs will have their way finally in Nairobi?
I'd vary the idiom a little. My brother Ambrose Weda talks about what will happen. I talk about what some people would want to happen rather than what will happen. What will happen, we really don't know at this moment because it is a contest, and until the contestation is over, we can't say this is what has happened. But of course, my brother Ambrose Weda, being a church minister, sometimes has the ability to exhibit some prophetic powers. But there are those who own Nairobi and who would like to own the governor, who have got their own preference. There are issues of ethnicity that Ambrose Weda is talking about. I think they are valid, that there are people who think that if there's going to be a national CEO, then the CEO in charge of Nairobi should come from a different community. We saw a fairly tame and mollified Tim Wanyonyi saying things to the effect that we will wait to see what the coalition says, whether it will add or it will subtract. And we see that Tim Wanyonyi is already beginning to submit. having been endorsed previously as the ODM flag bearer by former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, by Mama Ida Odinga, and by Party Secretary General at ODM, Edwin Sifuna, and others, then you see him kind of starting to backpedal to say that we are going to wait and see what they are going to say. Now, when Polycarp Igade, on the other hand, comes on board, the question that begins arising is who ultimately is going to make the decision? Is it those who own Nairobi, the big business magnates, or is it going to be the voters? How much grassroots contact does he have? Could he boast of? One of the things that made it easy for Mike Sonko to run quite ahead of the rest of the pack was his common touch with the Holoi Poloi. And I do not know just how much my good friend Polycarp Igade, with his boardroom experience, his business Parisian suits, his elegant and eloquent English idiom.
You don't think that counts, Barack? That should count for something.
I don't know whether it counts in a place called Coachland. Do you know a place called Coachland? Yourself, for example?
Absolutely.
You know Coachland?
Yes.
Has he been to Coachland? Has he been to what is called Lavington Annex and Modega Annex and the residents of those places? Is he sufficiently in touch with them, or is he hoping that the demographics referred to by my brother Ambrose Weda as the oligarchs are going to completely make those populations in Coachland, in Lavington Annex, and and elsewhere within those environs irrelevant?
In this race, Barack, do you have any candidate who has a Michael Sonkesk, if you like, you know, that kind of an audience, in just not in Azimio alone, but in UDA? Is there a candidate like that?
To a limited extent, I would say that Tim Wanyonyi has been that kind of candidate, and I say that with a lot of caution. Because I do not know whether beyond Westlands he has been able to explore the rest of Nairobi. In Westlands, he is certainly in common touch with the Kangemites. You know, the people who are called the Kangemites. They live in a place called Kangemi. They live in the neighborhoods of Kiuna, Kibagare, if you know such like places. He has been really in touch with them, and those are the people who helped him to become MP twice. I do not know how well he is grounded in Umoja, in Korokocho, in Makadara, in Mukuru Kwanjenga, and in such other places. It's a little difficult to say that I could place a finger on any one of these individuals. They seem to be highbrow elite candidates.
Right.
And so I would kind of be a little cautious. But certainly Polycarp Igade is a rank outsider.
Right. Okay. Let's switch gears.
Let me just react to what he's saying. One, you cannot think of Wanyonyi when the Senate seat is being sought by Sifuna. The Senate and the governor cannot all go to Lueland. That's out. That is number one. Number two, the Holoi Poloi is talking about, they are normally given candidates which they embrace. But Sir Kedero, let me just give you facts. Sir Kedero came from wherever he came from, Mumias, and then as a businessman. In England made suits. He went around because he had resources and Raila's support. He became governor.
Right.
So this thing of you have to have gratitude, you have to know people in Kayole, you have to know, no, that will be done with resources and the oligarchs or the other people supporting you. This seat.
Are you saying?
Yes.
Are you saying that voters in Nairobi do not have a choice?
I'm not just saying voters in Nairobi. I'm saying voters in this country. They are given
candidates.
Even now, they will be given. Otherwise, even the Sonko is talking about, he was originally with Raila. Raila didn't like it much, but he was accepted by other people. So then from there, he was grown. Sakaja has been grown. People are grown. So this thing of, Holo Ipolo, I have no say. In fact, I've seen even the other people are complaining that, in Homa Bay, some people have been given, the other day, Baba insulted, so and so. And some people are saying, no, in a home, your father said you has to insult you. So this Wanjiku, you give them candidates, they do a brouhaha for some time, then they cool down. When election time comes, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta will come, the UDA candidate will come, Baba will come, it's a big thing. And people say, yeah. So, Oloi Poloi, as he's talking about, they have no say. They will vote when the time comes, as they are told.
I'm disappointed. The people of Korogosho, where I share a lot with, are disappointed tonight that we do not have a say.
Because
we actually surely do have a say.
No. Let me tell you, these people vote on the basis of tribe, on the basis of party, or on the basis they are given something. That's why if you don't have money now, even if you are as educated as I don't know Professor who, if your hands are nothing, the oligarchs will come and say, we love James Smart, but his pocket is empty. So those people, they vote on the basis of ODM, they vote on the basis of UDA, they vote on the basis of their party.
Okay.
Therefore, they sold their soul to the parties. Therefore, the owners of the party will give them candidates and they embrace. Then they cry, oh, nomination, but then later on they are cool. So please don't weep for them.
Barack, you must help me, surely. The people of Korogosho must mean something, surely. Where does this cost?
They do mean something, and Ambrose Weda should refrain from being dismissive in such absolutist terms. We agreed earlier on that we have had giants falling even during these party primaries. People who have thought that they were sitting pretty because they were next to the powers within those formations. We have seen the Kositanis, Caleb Kositani. We have seen the Keters, we have seen the Wilson Sosions, and we have seen many others. We have seen our good friend Kate Warugoro. We've seen many people who thought that because they were close to the owners of the parties and the parties had given them to the electorate that they were going to have it plain sailing. It has not gone that way. And there are going to be more surprises and shocks, in fact, when we get to the elections. It is not true that the people will always vote in a certain... There are fellows who are grumbling. In fact, if you just come around here, James Smart, you go to Siaya here, there are people who are saying they are not happy at all that someone is trying to impose James Orengo upon them or to impose Oginga Oburu upon them, and don't be surprised. In Ugenya here, as Ambrose Weda is aware, Baba came there and he repeated those things of if your hands can be filled up with the certain unmentionable diamonds, stop thinking, then you start thinking that you are man enough, we are going to teach you a lesson. And little David Ochieng floored them. So I think Ambrose Weda must give the people a bit of benefit of doubt. Cut the electorate some slack.
We must cut the electorate some slack. I want to switch gears, but I want to take a shot because when I come back, I want my two able panelists to sort of give us wisdom on who would be the running mate, because there are choices out there, and there's interesting choices, with all due respect. We want to get some wisdom Let's cut the electorate some slack, and let's cut you some slack as well. Take a short break. With all due respect, we'll be right back.
Unapohisi maumivu, unahitaji kitulizo kinachotegemeka. Jaribu Panadol Advance. Ikitumia teknolojia Panadol Optizorb, tembe hiyo hufyonzwa haraka na kuandaa kitulizo cha haraka dhidi ya maumivu. Jaribu Panadol Advance.
Are you a herb beneficiary with an outstanding loan? From the 1st of March to the 30th of April 2022, we are offering you a 100% COVID-19 penalty waiver. Kamilisha malipo yako ya HELB leo.
All our dreams can come true, and HELB is the best place to empower our dreams. Kamilisha malipo ya HELB.
Take advantage of the 100% penalty waiver and clear your HELB loan today. Terms and conditions apply. Higher Education Loans Board, empowering dreams.
If you feel it, it's real. Coca-Cola, real magic.
All right, with all due respect, welcome back. Now, to the most important question, and the question is that of Runningmate. The Azimio side has had questions about former Vice President Kalonzo Musyoka, who's pitched for the last 2 weeks about his running mate status in Azimio. On the other hand, newcomer Martha Karua has pitched her tent, and she's got a little support from women. On this other side, there's the question of Anne Waiguru, who some functionaries in UDA are touting her as the proper running mate for William Ruto. Where will this go, Ambrose?
Number one, when you look at the running mate, ideally, a running mate would be somebody who would, the click of a button, can be a president. So if you are looking at it ideally, you would be saying, who can be president anytime, any minute? But that's not what is being looked at. Mm-hmm. It is, number one, being looked at who will bring votes. And when you look at who will bring votes, is also you look at who, in whose hands can we be safe. When we say we, I am talking about number one, the oligarchs.
You're back to the oligarchs.
Oh, yes. The world over. This is a capitalist economy, a capitalist country.
Okay.
Somebody worries about his building at city center. Somebody worries about his tax records. Somebody worries about whatever. So these names that you are touting, let us analyze somebody like Honorable Martha Karua. She just joined Azimio just the other day, reluctantly, just because she found herself between a rock and a hard place, or like between the devil and the deep blue sea. What do I mean by that? A rock because to her, Ruto is a no-go zone. Remember, she walked away from Kibaki. Mm-hmm. On this other side, Raila is okay, but surrounding Honorable Raila is Honorable Uhuru and Kalonzo. Again, people that are a hard place for her. But looking at it, she said, I have to be in between. On the other side, she couldn't go to Ruto because she thinks that Ruto is corrupt and all this. And Anne Waiguru, her perennial opponent, is also there. Mm-hmm. So she's here reluctantly. But that is not the issue. The issue is who among the known oligarchs is pushing her, supporting her. Secondly, who among the oligarchs is safe with her? She's the type, having walked from Kibaki, and the way we know her, she's the type that if you are corrupt, she'll easily just take you to court. If you stole, she'll easily... The oligarchs cannot risk with her.
But isn't that the kind of quality we're looking for?
You can't run a country like that. People will kill one another. Please, you can't be a Puritan. Even Puritan parents, they're Puritan. You are either left or right. Things don't work that way. There are people that their taxes are due and you have to negotiate with them. And so the fear she generates among the oligarchs.
Your oligarchs.
No, they are not. You remember? Look at the ones that invited Honorable Raila, the ones around. They want these things. In fact, some of them can say, "Stop that man from talking on that TV," and the TV goes. We know them. So there is no oligarch that feels safe with her. She is the type that I don't even think that. I'm sorry to say, this is my opinion. That you'd go in and somebody brings in the ICC files. And she says, no, I want peace in it. She doesn't say, open those files if it was not closed properly.
So the problem with her is that she's very straight.
Yes.
Okay, let me get this. I want to get the same view first from Barack. Barack, do you feel the same? Again, you're nodding.
I don't agree. I don't agree at all. In fact, let me say I absolutely don't agree. There are no saints, there are no angels in these things. If we were to place everybody under scrutiny, tight scrutiny, we would not find anybody that we would call Mr. Clean or Miss Clean, people who have no skeletons in the closet. If we were to look at Martha Karua, I think her lowest moment is, of course, in 2007. During the bungled presidential elections. She was hyper active. She's the person who is reported in various reports of having told Kipvui to announce. And of course, it was as a factor of that announcement that the country ruptured. And she has never come clean since that moment. Whenever this matter is brought up, she becomes very caustic. And here we are talking about an election that is perceived to have been stolen. All these people in ODM keep on saying Raila has been winning this election, which means that the election is perceived to have been stolen. The government was stolen. When you have stolen the government, then you are ready to steal anything and everything else in the way. That is a matter that needs to be addressed. When we look at the Kofi Annan mediated talks and the hardline stance that were being taken, with Martha Karua telling ODM to accept the outcome and move on or go to court. When we talk about the appointment of commissioners to the then ECK in October 2007, single-handedly by President Mwai Kibaki, at a time when the rest of the political parties were saying, let us have an IPPG kind of arrangement behind and around the appointment of these commissioners. And it was as a factor of that appointment of those commissioners that we had that flawed election, and the country sank into its lowest moment. We cannot talk about cleanliness.
Okay.
It surprises us that in June 2009, the same Martha Karua was ready to resign from Kibaki's cabinet because Kibaki had appointed judges to the various courts in the country without consulting her as Minister for Justice and Constitutional Affairs. That was not acceptable. But 2 years earlier, when he was unilaterally appointing commissioners to the ECK, it was acceptable. And there are many other things we could talk about. So let's leave those things of grade 1 cotton aside. They are not clean people.
According to you, who's the running mate, the preferred running mate, or for your crystal ball, who's the running mate for Honorable Raila Odinga?
If the owners of Azimio themselves don't seem to know who the running mate is going to be, and they're even trying to push it completely to the brink, it is double difficult for a rank outsider like myself to be able to say who it is. But names have been floated, and I agree with Ambrose Weda that it's a question of raw numbers.
Yes.
It's not a question of who can become president the next day, because the deputy president sits a heartbeat away from the highest office in the land, literally, that you can go to sleep as deputy president and your phone rings after a few moments and you find things have changed and you're being ushered into the most challenging office in the land.
Okay.
So it is, okay, it is possible that it could be Karua, it could be Lee Kinyanjui, it could be Peter Kenneth, it could be any one of these names that have been floated, but I see that it's going to be from the mountain.
It's from the mountain. Let's talk about UDA.
Yeah, first of all, I didn't say that Martha Karua is clean. In fact, all the things my brothers narrated are the ones that actually go to confirm that they fear her. Nobody would just want to wake up and then she finds Martha Karua is the president. She has been given that njora. You know the njora they give the president? It's supposed to cut up like this, then they cut you like this. The oligarchs fear her and the people around her fear her. So for me, I wouldn't say, looking at the arrangement, the patterns, the things.
Mm-hmm. What's your crystal ball telling you?
If you are going for Mount Kenya, obviously you will not come from Kiambu, and definitely not Nyeri. But look at the oligarchs again. And that points a lot towards Peter Kenneth.
Okay.
Or they will nominate a lady, either from cabinet or from some of this.
Okay.
But going to UDA, the next serious voting bloc from Kalenjin nation is the Kikuyu nation. So to secure their votes, chances are that it would be advisable to get another one. And that fellow can either come from the Gema sub-nations, the Kikuyu nation, the Meru nation, the Embu nation.
Mm-hmm.
The Honorable Justin Mutudu have been good, but his nation, the Embu nation, is very small.
But the whole Gema?
No. There's the big brother who will say, if you are picked the younger brother, shauri yako. So I think Anne Waiguru answers a lot of these questions. Why? She's been a cabinet secretary. 2, she also has big friends. Remember, she was taken even to the Senate. And she was rescued in the very Senate that Sonko fell. And Waititu fell. She was rescued. Thirdly, she also has skeletons. Now, these skeletons makes her amenable, makes her an easy, a safe bet. She's not coming clean. People will just tell you to committee. There are things you can use to drag her also. Tell her, okay, you are being a Puritan, we are also opening these files. But other than that, she looks viable. And she also comes from a county which is not Kiambu or Nyeri. And she comes from the wider Kikuyu. Going out, they would then have to go to the Meru.
Yes.
Which is, then they have to look at the number there. So I think the country also being ripe for a female running mate.
And that's a good thing. Barack, why not Musalia Mudavadi as the senior most politician who's hedged his bet to William Ruto? Why not him as running mate?
Ambrose Weda has his finger right on the pulse of the matter. It's not going to be a question of who is eminently qualified to become DP, who understands matters of the economy, who could become a good president in waiting. It's about raw numbers, and those raw numbers sit in the mountain. This thing is going to go to Mount Kenya. When push comes to shove, both Dr. William Ruto and Raila Amolo Odinga will be climbing the mountain. And as they climb the mountain, they are going to remember the saying in Kiswahili that if you want to eat a pig, choose one that is properly fat. And so they are not going to go on the fringes of Mount Kenya. They are not going to go to Meru. They are not going to go to Tharaka, to Embu. They are going to go squarely into central Kenya, where the numbers sit, and then they are going to pit these Kikuyu running mates and their followers, or those who would be persuaded to go with them. But finally, James Smarts, my brother Ambrose Weda paints a rather grim picture of our country. And regrettably, it is actually the truth that that is how we behave, that there are people who will be looking for individuals that are flawed because they can feel safe in the hands of those flawed individuals. That what Ambrose Weda, however, calls capitalism is not capitalism. In fact, this is not an oligarchy. It is a kakistocracy. A kakistocracy.
Kisungu kubwa.
Hapana, sio kizungu kubwa, ni kizungu ndogo. Kakistocracy can only be a kakistocracy.
Yes, help my audience. Help my audience.
Yes, I'll help the audience. Audience, kakistocracy is a government or rule by the worst possible elements of society. That we are looking for people not because of their integrity, but because of the absence of integrity, and because certain people who have done certain things that are bad, who have sinned against the country, who have committed economic crimes, can feel safe in their hands. So when they say things like, in whose hands are we safe? They are not talking about in whose hands Kenyans are safe. They are talking about the hands in which a few people who have gotten the wherewithal that they have through dubitable means can feel safe.
Okay, a kakistocracy, if you like. I want to go off, but
yes.
Ambrose,
yes.
having said all this, to wind it down, we do have the two-horse race, if you like. It doesn't appear that there's going to be a third horse.
Yes.
Is that a fact, or do you still think there's an opportunity?
No. We have Honorable Raila Odinga going, escorted together by his brother Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, Mrengo Moja, and Kalonzo Musyoka. And on the other hand, we also have Sir William Arap Ruto. On the other side, escorted by Musalia Mudavadi and a host of other. That is where we have said it is 3 months, and the candidates are going to be given to IBC next week.
Yeah.
So there will be no other bigger race. But I have my brother, Wajakoya, professor. The only point we disagree on is this thing of selling bang. That's the part where we are. As a man of God, Jehovah did not give us bang as food. Yeah. He didn't want us to eat those things.
What was bang for? It grows. I mean, if God did not want bang, it wouldn't have grown.
No, you know, when purpose is not known, abuse is inevitable.
Okay.
So you can abuse things. You can't even abuse tea. You can abuse coffee. You can abuse sodas. So otherwise, we have a two-horse race. And I appeal to fellow Kenyans, let us not kill anybody for the sake of the other. These people are brothers. After this election, there will be either handshake or elbow shake, because nobody seems to be able that will be able to win in such a way that you can run the government all alone. So there will be elbow shake. Yeah. If Honorable Raila won, I suspect he'll have less MPs than Honorable Ruto. If Honorable Ruto won, he'll have slightly more, but not enough to run a government in a harmonious manner. So harmony and the peace will require they do either a elbow shake or some leg shake or something, but there will be a shake for the stability and running of this country. So if you kill somebody for the sake of Honorable Raila, or you kill somebody for the sake of Ruto, you will be in jail, the fellow will be dead, as those people pop up champagne and they call each other brothers and they say for the sake of the country, yet you are dead. So don't die for anybody. Jesus Christ died for all of us, and that is enough. No more deaths for anybody. I hope Negi Winjo.
The man from Emanuelia, final thoughts from you, and if you like, the same as Weda. Who's winning this, where things are at the moment, and what's going to decide this as your final thoughts?
When you now get to that point, my brother James Smart and my co-panelist Ambrose Weda, I agree with Weda that there's no need to kill yourself over this thing. In fact, my plea would be to the political class, the time has come to tone down the rhetoric. The electorate, those who are going to vote for William Ruto, are decided, and they are going to vote for him. You are not going to change their minds. Those who are going to vote for Raila Odinga are going to vote for him, and they are not going to change their mind. The issue of the running mate might vary the percentages slightly, but not very significantly. There's going to be a bit of disappointment that, oh, we thought that Kalonzo Musyoka has reinvented himself, repackaged himself as a Mutaraka, and therefore is a Kikuyu, and therefore he should be running mate. But they will recover and vote whichever way they had thought previously that they were going to vote. There is, however, a critical constituency that is watching this whole thing very carefully, the undecided voters. And the undecided demographic in this context is a critical constituency, a constituency of people who think about things hard, who take a good look at things, who ask, what does it mean for my business, my small business, my big business? What does it mean for peace and harmony in this country? Where is this person taking the country? Those are critical people. Perhaps they belong to the upper middle class. I don't know whether they'll turn out to vote. Some are wondering whether they should even go out to vote. Those are the people that Azimio, La Umoja Oka, and Kenya Kwanza should be speaking to. And they don't listen to noise. That demographic does not listen to noise. It listens to reason.
Interesting, interesting. Final thoughts, and there's a question here, more like a comment from Wangare Mushoi. He says, James Smart, please, could you ask Ambrose where the term holoi polloi came from? He seems to be very learned. I'm not sure if I'm one of them, but the Kenyan electorate is now more informed. We just don't do what we are told. Historically, many political projects are voted in by the holoi polloi. As you make your final thoughts.
Yes, thank you. I think the holoi polloi, I picked it from my brother Barak, but it is what we would loosely call the Wanjiku. The one that is down there, the one that is done. And because I said they are beholden to the parties, that's why we talk about 6 Ps, 3 Ps, whatever Ps. That's why you can see people fighting for party tickets. Because they know you get the ticket, you have finished the job. Yeah. By the time we graduate, like I think in most parts of central Kenya, they have already graduated. You give somebody a ticket they don't like, you just lose. So I think that the ordinary person is the holoi polloi. Then we have the middle class, then we have the oligarchs, and then like that. But above all, God is with us. All I can tell our fellow Kenyans is, as I said, don't kill anybody for the sake of anybody. Number 2, we are taking those who are going to Form 1 next month. Please ensure that somebody who has been called to a good national school, if they don't have money, take them. Don't take them to local secondary school. I'm not saying there's a problem, but there's a difference. So politicians who are talking, church leaders and all these people, ensure that some of these are brilliant people who have done well. Let us take them to school. Let us sacrifice and take them to school. One day they will give us the cure for HIV and COVID and all these things. Otherwise, may God continue expanding your territory, blessing you in a special way, growing you as we pray for the peace and stability of our great Republic, Kenya.
Okay. Would like to leave. There's so many comments, but there's one more that my producer tells me that you must see. Yes. Should be on your screen any minute now. Do you have it yet? All right. Coming up just in a second, and there it goes. Ambrose is speaking the bitter naked truth. I also believe the oligarchs control the Wanjiku in a big way. The people that get to the ballot and also have an influence on who clinches power and who does not. That's from Gikaria Kamau at Kamau Gikaria. Talks about there that finally someone agrees with him. The man from Emmanuelia and in Emmanuelia, Barak Muluka, analyst, commentator, and accomplished publisher. Thank you very much for making time. Please come again and again. We'd like to see you. And Ambrose Weda, lawyer, church elder, and a very good friend.
Canon in the Anglican Church.
Canon in the Anglican Church. Thank you very much. You should consider our Jacoya. And please spread the word. Gentlemen, thank you very much, with all due respect. That's the way it is. That's how we sign out. Yes, there's plenty more. We do this every Tuesday on this station and this time. My name is James Smart. Have a lovely night.